Hello again, everyone. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it free fall because that's exactly what the markets did this last week. They literally went into free fall. I'm going to start off by looking at a couple of key levels on the Dow Industrials and the S&P 500, and I'm going to spend more time looking at the Nasdaq Composite, check in on the VIX, and then talk about and look at what happened with the Shanghai Composite, Japan, the Nikkei 225, and the German DAX. All right, so let's start off here with the Dow. The Dow was down 357 points on Friday. For the week, it was a heck of a lot worse than that. It was like 3,583 points for the week. Now, what's this dotted line? This dotted line is exactly literally where it came down to in June 3rd, and then exactly what the low was today. We're talking about, I got to zoom in to get the number a little bit, or zoom out. 24,680. If 24,680 does not hold, we're going to take another major step down. I mean, we've got the Nasdaq, let me step back. We got the Russell 2000 and the transports trading not at June levels. They're trading at June 2019 levels, or at least that's where the low was on Friday. And here we've got the Dow just coming back down to June low. So it's going to be real interesting to see if this holds or not. S&P 500 down 24.54. You can see they really came back. All the major indices popped back. But what really happened was the last 30 minutes of the day. That was it. That's what kind of turned this around and turned this candle into what we got. Now, we are extremely oversold on these. Some of these oversold readings, again, I use the RSI for a 10-day RSI. They're very close to what happened in December 24th, 2018. So we'll see. In a couple of the indices, they're not quite there, but we're in that neighborhood. But it's really interesting. Look at this, 28.55. So the low here on October 3rd. So, again, the S&P didn't even get to like the June low. The October 3rd low was exactly 2855.94. The low on Friday, 2855.84. We're literally talking about 1/10 of a point difference between these two lows. If this breaks, it's going to really kick in a whole ton of more selling. So we'll see what happens. Here's the Nasdaq Composite. We'll talk about this trend line in a minute. Nasdaq was actually up 0.89 points on Friday. Big turnaround type of day. But again, all of that happened in the last 30 minutes of the day. Now, here's the first couple of 30 minutes. Here's the first hour, 2 hours or so. So we did get a little rally in the morning. Then we chopped back down in the afternoon. Thought we were going to retest or possibly take out these lows, but didn't quite do that. And then all of the indices rallied in the last 30 minutes. So we'll see what happens. Now, here's the interesting, well, let me show you the weekly first, and then I'll get into the Elliott Wave picture. Here's the weekly view on the Nasdaq, down 1,009 for the week. Huge downdraft. I mean, this move, what's the range here? The entire range is 1,050, if I round it, 1,059 points. What was the range back here for the week of December 16th, starting December 16th? That was 627 points. Not even close, okay? You look at this one over here, February 2018, the range 646 points. The range this last week, 1,059 points. Pretty incredible move. Okay, now, here's what happened after the market closed on Friday. 7 o'clock Friday night, China released their PMI, their Purchasing Managers Index. Is the weakest PMI on record, okay? On record. They were expecting a reading of 46. Anything below 50 is contraction. It came in at 36, I believe. I think it was 36, 30. Pretty sure it was 36. It may have been 37. I'm close. Anyway, it was the lowest one on record. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens. We're going to take a look at the Shanghai Composite later in this video. But it's going to be real interesting to see what happens Sunday evening when the Asian markets open and our trading starts happening also, because we're also getting more and more of these coronavirus issues propping up, and of course in the United States also. All right, let's talk about what's going on here with the Nasdaq. Okay, so this is what I was working. I'm going to expand this out, and I'm going to go to a daily view, get off the weekly for a minute. I was working, coming off of this low in December of 2018, I was working a fifth wave, okay? I assumed that the fourth wave was in here. We got this three-wave count down. And what I was looking at was an possible impulsive move to the upside here. But here's what happened. When we were working this third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4 minor waves to try to finish out this third intermediate wave, the fourth wave came down and overlapped wave 1. Well, you can't have that in an impulsive wave. So this is out the window. Okay, this is gone. Let me get rid of the, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but this scenario, this Elliott Wave potential pattern is no longer valid. Okay, so to me, here are the two that I'm working that I think are still valid. A large flat. Now I'll say on the Nasdaq, this B wave as an A, B, C, the B wave pushed very high. It's up around 161.8% of A. Okay. A normal B wave, the maximum is around 138% or so. There's no hard and fast rule that says if it's greater than X, then it's invalid. Okay. There's no hard and fast rule about that. But right now, this looks like a potential three-wave and a three-wave, because this could very easily have been a triangle, a sideways triangle for a B. Okay? So if this is the case, and I see this same possibility on the other indexes, then in a large flat like this, then what we're expecting, we had a three, we're expecting a five-wave. Okay, so we're expecting a five-wave, and I'm expecting it to come down at least to the depth of where wave A ended, which was down at the end of 2018. Now, we'll see if we get down there. We're going to watch this wave structure in here also and see how this plays out. So, in terms of where we're at, to me, this is the bullish view, because this says we're still in a large corrective pattern with one more big wave to come to the upside. We'll see if this plays out. The other view, the alternate view I've got, is a very bearish view. And I'm going to go to the daily. I'm going to come back to this. This very bearish view says wave 5 is over. The intermediate wave 5, primary wave 5, cycle wave 5, all ended. Okay, so that is the most bearish view that says the bull market's done and that we're heading down. Now, for this to continue to play out, we're going to need to see, again, you want to see the move in that direction to be a first five-wave move. So that's what's a little bit eerie about where we're at. If we're in a big flat, we're in the C wave, we're expecting a five-wave move. If we've started a bear market, we're expecting a first move to be a five-wave move. So there's going to be a couple of these sequences where we're going to be in sync in terms of the scenarios. Now, if all of a sudden the free fall continues and we come on down and we start to break out of this, let's say we come down in a weekly view like this, and we break out of this channel, we break this trend line, then you've really got to lean into the bearish view. You got to lean into the fact that you got to stop trying to think for that we're going to get a significant. Now we'll break it if we come down to test this. Remember, this is like A, B, C. We will get a little bit of a break. What I guess what I'm really saying is we're going to have to watch and see what is the magnitude of the move we're seeing. Does it really set up for a five-wave move that fits, this scenario? Or does it set up for a five-wave move that basically tells you that, we're in a huge downdraft? Okay, and so we'll watch and see. We're deeply oversold. But the other thing to look for here on weekly charts, and this is what I'm looking for on weekly charts, the other thing I'm looking for is the RSI. The RSI starts to get on a close, so like let's say next week, when next week closes, if the RSI, and it doesn't matter whether it's Nasdaq, Dow, or the S&P, if it closes below 40, down in the 30s or so, I'm going to say, wow, okay, we're not getting ready to start pushing higher again. We're going to chop around and probably come down very weak, because once you get below, when you're in a bull market on the RSI, you typically will cycle between like 40 and 80. Sometimes you'll get to 85, sometimes a little bit higher, but usually between 40 and 80. When you're in a bear market and you're trending down, you cycle between like 25 and 65. Okay, so if you break down below 40, then you got to sit back and go, uh-oh, something just changed. Okay, so right now we don't have that. The reading's close, it's at 40.9, but right at the bottom of the threshold, what was the reading over here? The reading was, I'm looking in another window, 41.2. Okay, so we're right there at that threshold, and we're right at this trend line. All right, so that's what's going on with the Nasdaq Composite. That's what we're looking for. Let's take a look at the VIX. All right, so wow, the VIX got the explosion we've been looking for. I'm going to come back. I want to come back to the moving average view. We'll take a look at the VIX. We got the explosion we were looking for. It was up 0.95 on Friday, but huge move. We got all the way up here to 50, 49.48. Now, let's take a look. If you look at a weekly view, we closed at 40.11. We haven't seen a close at that like that in a long, long time. There's been a couple others. I'm trying to find my notes here. If we go back, this is the highest reading in terms of getting an intraday high up here. Highest reading since back over here in February 2018. Remember when we fell off a cliff at the end of January into the beginning of February 2018? Well, then you go back to that August 2015 sell-off. We hit a high of 53. And you go to August to October of 2011 when we had that huge government crisis and our debt was downgraded. Well, we were very elevated at that point also. We actually stayed fairly elevated on and off for a period of, through that whole period of August to October. So this will be really interesting to see, where do we go? Do we stay elevated up in here? But this basically confirms and just is in sync with the big move that we had to the downside. Let's take a look at China, at these global indices. Let's take a look at the Shanghai Composite. So here's what I've been looking for. Now, yeah, this was throwing me a curve for 3 weeks. Here's where it opened up after being shut down for 6 days because of the Chinese New Year. Okay, then we bounced back, and the Chinese government's basically, they've forbidden any kind of short selling. They put all in, a lot of stimulation. They put a lot of other parameters in there. And then finally this last week, down 159 points, it's like the market finally said, no, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Okay, and I am watching. We closed below the prior week low. We're watching for continued movement to the downside. This is what I'm expecting. We'll see if it happens. Now, what about Japan? Japan, the Nikkei 225. Wow. Down 2,243.7 points. Okay, big downdraft in here. I'm expecting a continued movement down here as a wave 3. Probably going to chop. It's a pretty big move. It is getting a little oversold down here. So we'll see what happens. But right now, this has come in like I was looking for it. I think that here's what let me zoom out a little bit. Now I want to get to the DAX. We're getting kind of a long video here today. This ABC move, come on, give it to me. There we go. All right, so this is what I think we completed, a 5-wave up move coming off like a major low with Japan in here. And then I think we're doing a large flat, which I was looking for a C wave. So in that C wave, the way it looks like it's playing out is a 3, 3. I'm looking for like an ending diagonal type pattern. And right now, it seems to be accommodating. I've been looking for this now for weeks. Was looking for reversal patterns like we had up here. Barely got them, not much. And then we got this huge move, huge break with what's happening with the United States. Let's take a look at Germany, and then we'll be done. The German DAX. I actually had the German DAX in this kind of a bullish, impulsive move. I thought we were doing, similar to what we thought was going on in the United States, that we're going to get that corrective pullback in here, wave 4, but stay impulsive and finish out wave 5. Well, again, you can't have wave 4 overlapping wave 1. So here's what I think is going on. I think we could be doing the big large flat like I just talked about for the Nasdaq Composite. Okay, and if that's the case, we'll be looking for a 5-wave move to the downside here with a major corrective, and that will be cycle wave 4. Okay, now this may come all the way down here to the bottom. Here's where it could go all the way to the bottom of the previous 4th wave. Okay, so this is the picture on the German DAX. I've got this from this low back in 2003, creating a cycle wave pattern up like this. Sharp pullback 2, a sideways wave 4 in here right now is the way we've got it laid out. We'll see if the market wants to continue to play out according to that scenario. Okay, that's it for today. Long video. Everyone buckle down. It's going to be another interesting week. There's no doubt, starting Sunday night. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it the thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscriber button. And if you'd like to have more of this kind of information on a daily basis, head over to joehenches.net and check it out. Everyone have a great weekend and a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.